Hey everyone, and welcome to another edition of the Bolt Crew podcast. Dave Palais, Josh Palais, and Mario Heron. Hope you guys are having a great day. Again, we're asking you to give the like button right there a push, and at the same time, subscribe if you haven't subscribed to the show. You guys know the rules. At the same time, if you guys are live, I always like when people are already in the chat, already ready to go, which is fantastic. I know people are excited about everything that's going on with the Chargers and moving forward, and more, you can feel it, guys, as we're in June. That if you're a football fan, the talk starts to go more towards football. I mean, unless you're a fan of the Celtics or the Mavericks, or you're a fan basically of the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Phillies, you're kind of moving towards football season already. And you kind of feel it in your normal conversations with your friends. Then people are talking about contract extensions, which guys might be traded, which quarterbacks that were drafted might not even start this season. But I was at a Major League Baseball game last night, and I think 50% of the conversation just in our group was about the NFL and guys like J.J. McCarthy and uniforms. And even for the Chargers, for people who aren't aware, the Chargers guys are in San Diego this week, which, people go, what do you mean they're in San Diego? The last time they played a football season in San Diego was 2016. Jim Harbaugh has decided to bring the team down to Camp Pendleton, which for the people that don't know is a Marine base in, northern San Diego. And one of those deals where some people say it's something that's important. Some will say it's just another chance of getting somebody hurt. But basically, these guys are going through the training of what the Marines do. And so if I was an athlete, I wouldn't want it, right? We talk about the guys that look good in shorts and T-shirts and do football activities and do the regular weightlifting and the regular sprinting. But now you're asking to do what Jim Harbaugh, I think, is trying to do is pull the team together. And these drills are all about pulling the team together. I'm going to bring it up because Josh went through something like this, right, when you were in high school. And Mario, I don't know if you ever did anything like this, but Josh, your football team got together before the season started dealing with training from the military, right?
Yeah, we went through the Navy SEAL training, the Budge training before my junior year football season. A lot of people do it now. I swear to God, we were the first team in San Diego to ever do that. It was the hardest thing I've ever done in my life. I don't know how anybody becomes a Navy SEAL. It is incredibly difficult, everything they do. I mean, there's one point where we had to lift a log, like a full-on tree, sit-ups, and then we had to put it over our head. I'm like, dude, who the hell does this for fun? These guys are insane. It was incredible, but we went undefeated that year, so maybe that helped.
So what was the training? Like, what was it all? Like, you guys didn't do a full 2 months, right?
Thing. No. It was one day. It's like a one-day training thing, but you're on the beach in San Diego, in San Diego, and you go through a bunch of different drills, like the log. Like I said, we have to do the sit-ups and put it over your head. We had to run. We had to jump in the water. Then we had to roll around in the sand, and they called it sugar cookies.
Yeah.
Like, this is not fun at all, but I don't know how anybody does that. My dad has a friend of his that's a complete psychopath that does that stuff for fun. So I don't understand it at all.
He's not a psychopath. He's not only is he a Navy SEAL, but he's like in charge of all the SEALs. He looks like the G.I. Joe doll.
Yeah.
Like, no joke. And these guys are a whole, as Josh said, the word is different. I mean, they're a whole different breed. The fact that they even passed the test to become Navy SEAls, but dude, man, I've been in the room with these guys, and it's just crazy. Like, I'm a big dude, and I'm always for a good time and whatever that's a challenge. But man, I'm one of those guys that when I'm in this room, I'm just kind of leaning back. I'm Homer Simpson going in the bushes. I mean, just straight out. The guy looks at me and he goes, "Man, you're a big guy. What are you? 6'3", 230? Yeah. You want to go in the front yard and fight? No." I don't. Like, I 100% don't. Like, you understand, if we get into a fight, we are never going to be friends again. Like, this will be the end of the friendship. Oh, no, it'll be a good time, man. 10 minutes. We'll just punch each other in the face and fight in the front yard until one of us gives up. No, it doesn't work that way. But, dude, these guys do it all the time. Or they are watching the UFC and they just choke each other out, put someone like in a complete sleeper hold. That guy was running his mouth a little too much tonight, so I did knock him out. And you just... It can sound psycho as hell, but I'm glad they're on our side. Put it that way. But as Josh said, they went undefeated. So when Jim Harbaugh says, "Hey, we're doing team activities to bring the team closer together," what's your initial reaction, Mario? What do you think? Good idea, bad idea?
I'm always all for that. Like, I think that's always good stuff. for the team, for the program. And those are usually like the type of events, Josh, where like later on, when you retire or you look back at your time spent with whatever team, you kind of like bring it up, right? Like, remember when Harbaugh made us do the, Marcus Luttrell challenge or like whatever the hell it is, like some Navy SEAL stuff. Like it's something you laugh about later on in your career. It's something that you kind of really look back and, you remember. There's always like little hidden messages and meanings in there that you kind of don't really think of in the moment while you're doing it, but you kind of reflect on after, right? So I'm always all for them. I always think they're good. Josh, I just can't get out of my head. Like, dude, if you told me when I was 17, I'm gonna go lift a log on a beach and then get sandy. I hate sand. Like, I really do hate sand. And you go tell me to do a sugar cookie, whatever. I'm out. I'm all set. High school football, I'm like, yo, it's not worth it for this, man. I can still get a prom day without doing that.
Honestly, I'm all for the team building stuff. I like that Jim Harbaugh is doing a lot of different things. The way I look at it, Mario and Dave, is I would like the Chargers to do something different than they've done for the last 15 years. Whatever you guys have done for the last 15 years, it has not worked to do all these different team bonding exercises, whether it's the Jim Harbaugh golf tournament or you're going down to Camp Pendleton to do a workout with the military. I'm all for it. I think Jim Harbaugh is different than every other coach in the world when it comes to football. He is so unique. I love that he's the coach of the Chargers. His press conference hyped me up. If you guys haven't heard it, I recommend you listen to that. I want to find somebody that loves me as much as Jim Harbaugh loves Justin Herbert. I don't know if you guys have seen the press conference. I don't know how many different ways he could say in one press conference how much he loves one person. I love it, man. I'm a big fan of Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that. I'm sure Jim Harbaugh's first wife's like, hell, if he would have talked about me like that, we'd still be married. What the hell? The guy really loves Justin Herbert. What just happened there? Here's the deal. We know we got a good one, right? We know we got a good one in Jim. I mean, he's won everywhere he's gone. Not only has he won, he's won in dramatic fashion, even when the odds were stacked against him. I hate to say it. When he was at University of San Diego, nobody cares. It was a small school, but he dominated there. Then he goes to Stanford. And it's one thing to say, well, he went to Stanford, a Pac-12 school. For people who don't understand, dude, it is so hard to get into Stanford. I mean, you hear all the time how they have scholarships to give away that they can't give away because people can't pass the academic part to get in. It's honestly one of the toughest academic schools to even get into, let alone try and win during a time when USC might have been the most dominating team of that 10 years. And boom, he did it. Stanford goes to USC and puts it in Pete Carroll's face. And what does he do? He talks trash. Remember Pete Carroll's famous line, "What's your problem?" And it was crazy. It's funny as hell now, right? For me, it's funny. At the time, I wasn't a Stanford fan. I didn't care. But I loved watching those USC teams. And the fact that Pete Carroll's like, man, what's your problem? And then he takes it to the NFL and he does it with the Detroit Lions again. Dude, the fight almost broke up between the coaches on the field. I love the fact that he's on the Chargers side. Like we have an ass, let's be honest, but that he's ours. Like we never have that guy. We never have. I kind of like the guys that embrace being great, but also not afraid of being hated. Like he thrives on the dislike too. I'm going to do it my way. I'm going to have success. And the more you dislike me, that's just the cherry on top of the whole thing. And that's where he's at to me. He embraces this whole thing. It's the one thing that you might not like what I'm saying. It's the one thing that makes the Raiders cool. They got that attitude. They have that reputation of just being kind of bad guys and Raider fans. Even though their team has stunk for 20 years, they're still the Raiders, and they have that mystique where guy walks in wearing a Raiders sweatshirt into the bar you're in, you kind of lean back a little bit going, that guy's a little dangerous. Jim Harbaugh is dangerous. He makes the Chargers dangerous. There's an intimidation factor. And in physical sport, I love the fact we have an intimidation factor surrounding this team. Don't let the powder blues fool you. We're going to punch you right in the face.
Yeah, I mean, the Chargers have always had soft players. I mean, it's just a fact. Even when we were good, when we were good, we had guys that were tough, right? Like Sean Merriman, he does like bare knuckle boxing. I wouldn't want to mess with Sean Merriman. There's a few guys on that team that I think were a little bit psycho that I wouldn't want to mess with. Recently, the Chargers have had great people. Hasn't equaled wins. People would be like, what, you want Vontaze Burfict on your team? I'm like, yeah, I would love Vontaze Burfict to be on my team. You want Antonio Brown on your team? Yeah, I would take him too. Any psycho that can play football, I'll take. Remember when Tyrann Mathieu came out of LSU and he was a pot smoker and stay away from him. He smokes weed. I'm like, can he play safety? Like, yeah. He falls to the third round because he smokes weed. Are you kidding me? Like
the Chargers during the game.
Yeah, as long as you're not smoking during the game. Or you can do it during the game as long as you don't get caught. I don't care. Make tackles. the Chargers have always passed up on players and coaches that are different. I love that they're going in a different direction and taking in a guy like Jim Harbaugh. And Jim Harbaugh, you can see, is bringing in more guys with the personality kind of like his, where they love football and they love to just be part of the team. The direction that the Chargers are heading, I'm very excited for. It's something we've never seen after the year 2000, at least. We've never seen a Chargers team like this that has taken on the personality of a coach. Maybe Marty Schottenheimer, but that was on the back end of his career. This is going to be unique, Mario.
It's going to be so unique, and it's going to be so exciting, and it's a breath of fresh air. And I'd just like to point out that the fear of the Raiders is gone, baby. My era, yeah, it's more if someone walks in the bar and they're wearing Raiders stuff, you look at them and you take whatever drink they have and you throw it against the wall and you call them a loser. Don't do that. But I'm kidding. All right, everyone knows I'm kidding. But no, I think it's a big thing that we're kind of seeing right now with this new Charger unit, and I think you kind of just already see shades of it in these guys' press conferences and the way these guys talk. And like obviously, like always bring up the Ben Herbert thing, and someone commented, had a great comment. Tom Honker. I'm going to call you Honker. That's probably saying it wrong, but still top tier comment. Ben Herbert probably freaks out those Navy SEALs. Yep, he definitely does. It's a different atmosphere. It's a different era, I think, of the Chargers. And, I've said this multiple times. The Chargers had this thing, especially in the Phil Rivers time, I think, where they were the air raid, right? Like they were the West Coast offense that, when they played the physical football team and they really got, down in the trenches, they lost. They couldn't do it. Similar to like Oregon football with Chip Kelly, right? When he got down the trenches, they just couldn't hang with the big boys. That's not going to happen in this Harbaugh era. It's going to be a completely different ball game, and I'm going to be pretty excited about it.
Hey, we have a comment right here. It says, "What happened to the super chat button?" Yeah, we're trying to figure it out.
We're trying to figure that as well.
Yeah, we're working on it. Trust me, we want that button back as well. We're trying to figure that whole part out. It's the reason I bring up coaches, and I wanted to start with Jim Harbaugh is one of our favorite guys. The three of us, one of the things we agree on is Mike Tomlin got an extension with the Steelers to 2027. Is he a guy that you go is an extension guy? Meaning that, yeah, he's Steelers, we think, have somebody good. I think he's one of the better coaches in the league, but at the same time, hasn't won a Super Bowl in a long time, right? Hasn't dominated in the playoffs in a long time. Is he one of those guys that you still put in your top 5 of NFL coaches?
100%. To have a winning record with Kenny Pickett as your quarterback, I mean, extension deserved right there. I mean, but Mike Tomlin, to me, not only is he a top 5 coach in the NFL now, I think he's one of the greatest coaches in NFL history. To have a winning record every season and you're in the same division as the Ravens is incredible. I think that some of those Steelers teams have lacked talent significantly, especially on the offensive side of the line. They've had a horrible offensive line. Mike Tomlin, to me, is still a top 5 coach, one of the best coaches in the world. He absolutely deserves it. He's been there since 2007, I believe, which is absolutely incredible. I would love for Jim Harbaugh to be a guy that sticks with the Chargers for years to come. Who's the longest standing Chargers head coach? Do you know that off the top of your head? I mean, it has to be.
I'm going Don Coryell. I don't know. Speaking of Charger trivia, we're going to have Charger trivia, and it's going to be for the people in the chat. We want to see how smart our audience is coming up in the show. So we're going to ask you just respond with an answer as fast as you can. So anyway, it's part of the show. We'll see how good you guys are at Charger trivia in a second. Go ahead, Josh.
Where would you rank Jim Harbaugh right now? I know he hasn't coached an NFL game in years.
Top 5.
Where you put him in the top. Who's your top 5 coaches if you have him and Tomlin in there?
Andy Reid's number 1 for me right now. I mean, how can you sit there and disagree with Andy Reid has done? Right. It's Andy Reid, and man, I might even have Harbaugh higher than 5. I just said top 5 off the top of my head. I'm trying to think, who would I rather have besides Jim Harbaugh? I don't know if there's somebody I'd rather have.
The other Harbaugh.
Great. But I'll be honest with you, I think Jim's best for this team right now, better than John. John has basically created the model, and everyone knows what you're getting with the Ravens. Like, it's a finished product in the Ravens. Jim literally is building this thing from the bottom up. I mean, when you talk about building from the offensive line out and what he's trying to do with this franchise, I think Jim's the better person for this job. As much as, we goof on Jim, or we like to tell the story about how Jim has no friends, and that's coming from his brother. That's not coming from us, but that's his own brother. So he's never had friends. Like, he doesn't get along with anybody. He's he tried to drown John in the ocean, thought it was funny a couple years ago. I mean, he's just little off. But the fact that he's here, honestly, I think he's the best possible coach for this organization right now. I'd rather have Jim than John right now.
Is Jim Harbaugh the best coach in Los Angeles?
No.
I mean, is he better than McVay? Is that the question?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
I'd
funny
say
you
no.
say that. Yeah, McVay for me is at the top. Kyle Shanahan's at the top. And again, I will say for this team, Jim is best for this organization right now. I think he's better than any of those other guys for this team. Josh and Mario, I'll say this. I don't think the Charger problems are even so much physical as they are mental. When you go to an organization that has always had the reputation of being soft and, in a city where, sometimes your fans show up, sometimes they don't show up. Sometimes your fan base sells tickets off to visiting teams to make money back on your season seats. And the kind of fans that, and I don't hate when people put it on the fans, but the organization, I will say, is known for not having success. They don't have a trophy in the trophy case in the Super Bowl era, and they need to build a toughness. It's the identity. One thing Josh said on the show a few years ago, what is the team's identity? What is this franchise's identity? I mean, they've been around since 1960. What's the franchise's identity? This is where he comes in and he gives you an identity. And I hope it's one of toughness and excitement. But right now, when you say you're a Charger fan, to anyone that's outside of California, they kind of just look at you the way we used to look at Lions fans, right? It's kind of a shame. Like a lot of heartbreak there. We don't want the heartbreak anymore. We want to see a parade. We want to see when you're in a situation you're being talked about as one of the best franchises, and to do that, you have to win Super Bowls.
Chargers.
What do you think? Am I off?
No, you're 100% right. I totally believe in a team having like a culture. Obviously, if you go to a different organization, you take on that culture. Jim Harbaugh, to me, is going to change the identity of the team because the Chargers haven't had one in years, like you said. For me, the identity is going to be toughness, something the Chargers haven't had in my lifetime, or at least I can't remember the last time the Chargers were considered a tough team. An example of that would be that Jim Harbaugh named his starting offensive line, which is extremely surprising to me. I didn't think that was going to happen in June. He said Trey Pipkins is the starting right guard. Excuse me. That is a huge offensive line. I mean, Trey Pipkins. Then you're going to have Joe Alt. You have Bradley Bozeman, who's 6'5", 325. Then you have Rashawn Slater and Zion Johnson. It's going to be a tough team. You could see it already. The Chargers bring in Will Disley to be blocking. They have a bunch of guys. They have a fullback finally in Mason that's going to be blocking. This is going to be a team that runs the ball, that's going to be tough, that's going to beat you up. I will take a tough – yeah, tight ends like Disley. Yeah. But this is going to be a tough team.
You got two of them that block. That's what I'm saying. It's crazy.
Yeah, they have a blocking team. You're going to be running the ball. You have Greg Roman in there who's a run specialist. Chargers, to me, are going to be the team that finally punches you in the face. They're going to take on that identity. I'm excited for that more than anything. Derwin James is going to be leading the defense, knocking people's heads off. We got Gilman, who knocks people's heads off. I'm excited for this team, Mario, because we haven't had a tough team in years. So if you can make that happen in year one and establish a dominance on the line, I'm all for it, because the Chargers haven't had that in at least 20 years.
So there's a lot of things you guys said there that I want to revisit that I really, really did agree with. One, I think, Dave, so Harbaugh, to me, I don't know if he's a top 5. I was writing him down and trying to list. I don't know if he's a top 5 coach for me in the NFL. Just Reed, Shanahan, Theo Harbaugh, McVay, Tomlin. Like, those ones I'd stand above. But the part I do agree with you, though, is I think Harbaugh is the perfect coach for the Chargers job because of what you just went into, Josh. Like, the physicality set, like you mentioned the oline and like the starters that we have right now. Those are some big boys. That as soon as you started describing that to me, it like took me back to when I was like 12 years old. I remember looking at Sports Illustrated, and Wisconsin had this insanely large offensive lineman, and the caption was like, "Who will even touch the QB?" And it's like absolutely no one, because these guys are freaking monstrous, and that's what the Chargers have right now in their offensive line. And they kind of need that, right? Like, let Herbert have all day in the pocket to throw, because when there's no pass rush, there's no secondary. We talked about that multiple times. And it's going to be huge for Herbert, especially with receivers that are going to struggle to get open or need a little bit more time to find space and kind of find the right spot and weaknesses in the defense. So I think that's going to be huge. Harbaugh bringing that tenacity and bringing a run first, a hit you in the mouth first type of style is not something that we've really seen. If the Chargers were to get a guy like, McVay, right, or Reed, like, those guys are great coaches, but they would look at Herbert and look at the situation going, all right, we're going to throw the ball 40, 50 times a game. And, like, I'm not saying that's not going to work, Dave, in this NFL. It would work. It would definitely be great for Herbert. But like we've seen since Herbert's been in the NFL, and they've even mentioned multiple times, they have yet to have a successful run game with Herbert. So when there's none of that, it's but he's out there being a pitcher throwing 200 pitches a game. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's got to throw it a lot, and a lot relies on his shoulders. So it's something that's going to be completely different in this Harbaugh era, and gets me excited for it. Let's punch some people in the face, but don't do that at a bar.
Okay, so a couple things I want to get to is obviously as it's set up, it looks like they're going to focus on the run game. All right, everybody agrees, right? You have the coach that focuses on the run game. You have an offensive line that is built for the run game. You talk to offensive linemen, they will tell you they rather play and run offense. I mean, that's what it's all about, the physicality of going forward and not going back. And the offensive line love a team that has a run game. That's why where I think they missed. And I don't know how much mileage he has left, but I think Derrick Henry would have been a perfect fit on this team. With that offensive line and their plan all along, that I think Derrick Henry would have been a perfect fit where they beat you up. As you just said a second ago, when you're running that ball that much, that means you're bringing the secondary up. So when you do decide to pass, now, do they have the running backs to basically go and support that offensive line? I'm kind of curious to know. I mean, overall, I mean, you look at, Dobbins and you go, and the guy's been hurt all the time. When healthy, he was been outstanding, but man, he is hurt all the time. I know you can't go out and get Derrick Henry. He's actually with John Harbaugh with the Ravens, but it was one of those where it seems like that would have been your perfect fit to establish what you're trying to do, right? As far as the physical part goes.
So this is why I think they didn't go for Derrick Henry.
Okay.
Derrick Henry signed a 2-year, $16 million contract, right? $8 million a year. If you combine Dobbins and Edwards' contract, it's about $6 million a year. I think for how much the Chargers want to run the ball this season, they're going to need multiple running backs. That's why I think we should keep an eye out for Kareem Hunt, who's also not a great human being, but he can run the damn football, to be added to this team because they're going to be running the ball so much. You need multiple guys to run the ball because you can't just rely on one person, especially Derrick Henry, how many carries he's had from going from his last season at Alabama when he ran the ball 1,000 times to, the last, 7 years with the Titans. He's ran the ball so much. I don't know if he's going to be able to be dependent on like that to run the ball every down. That's my guess of why the Chargers went with multiple running backs.
I think there's something to running back by committee. Like, we're in this era where, like, you can have a great running back, but having running back by committee also works pretty damn well. AKA, look at what the Rams are about to do. The team just across the town, they're going to do that with Kyron Williams and Blake Corum coming up. Like, that's just going to be something that's big. And also with the Derrick Henry thing, guys, I'm going to be completely honest with you. I'm really, really expecting like a Derrick Henry come down to earth year. Like, I really am. Like, he kind of had that already last year. I wouldn't be a fan of spending that money on getting Derrick Henry when, one, like you said, Josh, you can find the salaries of the guys we got now, and, you get one Derrick Henry. I just don't think that's a smart move. A team that's supposed to be pretty financially smart, I'd rather not take it on a running back that his best move is power and he's pretty tall and he's getting a little older. I'd rather not do that. Go ahead and take the bite with Lamar Jackson and run that option. You don't think so, Dave?
I think Derrick Henry's going to have a huge year. I just do. I mean, anytime someone tells you can't do something or you're washed up, I mean, Derrick Henry wasn't bad last year. Derrick Henry has never been bad. When Derrick Henry's healthy, he's always been really, really good. If Derrick Henry's going to have a fall year, it's going to be in 2025, not 2024. I mean, I follow Derrick Henry on Instagram. That dude works out more than anybody in the NFL. I mean, he never takes a day off. He is always either working on something that helps him get faster or something that helps him get stronger. And he's just addicted to the gym and getting better. Here's the deal. People say, oh, look at all the mileage he put up at Alabama. He really didn't. He only had 1 year where he was the guy at Alabama. And then with the Titans, of course, man, they went to him all the time. But we used to talk about on these pregame shows, whenever the Chargers played the Titans, you knew the Titans were going to take something out of you for the next few weeks because it was always going to be physical. You might win the game, but the Titans were going to bruise you up and basically affect your body the rest of the way. Derrick Henry is kind of in the perfect division with those teams, right? I mean, to see Derrick Henry going against the Steelers, the Bengals, the Browns, I mean, that is a physical defense that he's going to see every single time he goes inside the division. I don't know. I'm a Derrick Henry fan, obviously. I like guys that grind. I like guys that have something to prove. I just think 2024 he's going to have a big year. And again, I hope the Chargers made the right decision. We've gone back and forth about saying we're trying to say whatever they say we go with until it fails, and it hasn't failed yet. And I don't know what to say. Here's something I want to bring up because it's been passing in the comments. And last week when we did our last show, man, it seemed like we got more negative comments than ever before, especially directed towards me. So I say we, but it was basically directed. And Josh, yeah, I don't know. I think it was Mario who was sitting there creating names, just ripping the crap out of Josh and me. But I'm just joking, Mario. So Jaffe brings up Justin Herbert. So here's my thing on Justin Herbert, okay? Justin Herbert, as I said, I need more from Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert in his career has a losing record. All right, that's how quarterbacks are judged. I'm sorry. All right, so look, since 2020, I got it right here, Jaffe. I understand. I had it written down before you even ripped me today. 14 game-winning drives since 2020, 11 comebacks. Okay, game-winning drives, you can take it for whatever you want. Doesn't exactly mean they happen in the last 2 minutes of a game. It just means you took the lead at some point when someone else had the lead. So in 2020, his first year in the league, he had 3 game-winning drives. In 2021, he had 5. In 2022, he had 5. And last year, he had 1. He had 1. Okay, 17-game season, he had 1. And I understand he wasn't available in some of those games, but, man, the best ability is availability. That 1 was against Minnesota in week 3, by the way. Okay, never before have we seen Justin Herbert get so many balls that were batted down, something we spoke about on the show a lot, going, what the hell? We expect that to be different this year. That needs to be fixed. You can't have one of the tallest quarterbacks in the league getting passes knocked down all the time. But game-winning drives, you can take it for whatever you want on that stat. But all it means is at some point in the game, you were behind and your team won the game. It doesn't have anything to do with, hey, he won in the last 30 seconds and put something together like one of these crazy Patrick Mahomes drives. But the most important stat for the Chargers, 1 is, are they hosting playoff games? It means, are they winning their division? 2, are they going to Super Bowls? And 3, have they had a winning record while this quarterback has been the starting quarterback? We expect more into Justin Herbert, and he's considered a veteran right now. And so, yeah, it's time to start pointing the finger at the golden child. And as Jim Harbaugh can say how much he loves him, let's see the best Justin Herbert this year and for years to come, because right now it has not equaled what matters most, and basically which team is winning that scoreboard every single weekend.
All right. So thanks for adding color to that. I don't want to talk about Justin Herbert game-winning drives anymore. Like, it's so annoying to me. Why are we always talking about this? How about we just win the game? Why does he have to have a game-winning drive? Just win, right? I think it was Adam Schefter put out a tweet yesterday that talked about how Justin Herbert's worst statistical games last season were the wins for the most part. Do you think Justin Herbert wants to win, or do you think he wants 1,000 yards? He's already done that. He's already thrown for 1,000,000 yards and lost in games. He wants to win. He doesn't care. My opinion is Justin Herbert does not care if it's a game-winning drive or not. He just wants to win the game. It's a loser conversation from us Charger fans. Why do we always have to talk about this? Let's just win in the playoffs. How about that? Why do we have to talk about game-winning drives with Justin Herbert all the time? It's like if your team finished in last place, but you led the league in rushing. Like, what does it matter? It doesn't mean anything. Win the game. It doesn't have to game-winning drive. Doesn't have to be a game-winning drive. And like Dave said, if it's a game-winning drive, that means you're already losing. How about we just take the lead and continue the lead in these games? Jim Harbaugh is going to bring the best out of Justin Herbert. And there's another thing I disagree with here, and I'm getting angry again. Eddie Dale Jr. says batted balls are an over-talk stat. I can cuss. We're not with Odyssey anymore.
Yeah, I just
batted balls are an over-talk stat. Eddie, I couldn't disagree with you more. Batted balls are directly on the quarterback. You throw over the line or you don't. Tua is significantly shorter than Justin Herbert, yet his passes aren't batted down as much as Justin Herbert's. I think it's something that's going to be fixed. You're going to see a lot less of it next year with Jim Harbaugh being a quarterback himself, but it's not an over-talk stat. That is a lost down. Every time you throw a pass and gets batted down.
Not only is it, I'm sorry, Mario, I'm going to say it real fast. Not only is it a lost down, it's a momentum changer. Okay. Yeah. It's not to a sack where it's a momentum changer, but it's a momentum changer. When a team bats another guy's ball down, it is, and sports is all about momentum in every sport, but it changes the momentum. I'm sorry. Even to the quarterback. What do you think the quarterback feels when he gets his ball batted down? It's embarrassing as hell. It's demoralizing. It's not good for the team. It's not good for the line. It's not good for the quarterback. It's not good for the offense. It's a wasted down. It's a momentum change.
If you can't get the ball over the line of scrimmage, you're not going to be very good. That's just an obvious, true fact. You can tell me all you want. It's an overrated statistic. It's over talked about. Look, if the ball can't go beyond 1 yard of line of scrimmage, you're going to be in trouble. And your QB's not going to look very good anymore. And then you're going to be in a really tough spot. Look, the Herbert comeback drives, like that statistic, if you will, that's like something we like to use and people like to use on social media to kind of compare quarterbacks, right? It's the, too much time left for Mahomes, too much time left for Brady, too much time left for Manning. It's what the standard we kind of hold for QBs now to show no matter what the stakes are, they're always going to be in the game, no matter what. And I think the point is when you use those stats it screams, are you really still in the game with Herbert? Like, I think that's a critique of it, right? Are you still really in the game like you are with Allen, with Mahomes, with how you were with Brady, with Manning, maybe even throw Lamar in there? Like, are you really? And that's kind of like the pedestal that Herbert's being held to. And to be completely honest with you guys, like, I understand frustration. It's a very annoying conversation to have, but I get it. I completely get it. Because there's a lot of times the past 2 seasons, guys, that we've been doing this show where I've been kind of frustrated going, why didn't Herbert close this game out? Like, why is there not a worry that we have the ball with 2 minutes left and we got this thing sealed in the back? Like, why isn't this happening? Like, I'm sorry to say, but like, in order to be a top QB in the league, I think he is, you have to have that it factor. And the past season, I know he was hurt, and I would even go maybe in the season before that, I don't know if Herbert's had the it factor.
He hasn't. Unfortunately, right now, until he basically is a guy that's in the playoffs and wins playoff games, that's where your reputation is built. It's just the way it goes, man. Look, nothing against him. I think the best football is in front of him. But, man, to just act like everything he does is perfect, let's be honest, it's not. When you have a losing record, not everything is perfect. I think most people would still take him over Tua. Not saying you're wrong to say you would take him. Even the Miami Dolphins, if they had a chance to take Tua or take Herbert, they'd probably take Herbert. The deal is Tua wins games, and you got to win games. And that to the fan base, that should be all you care about. These players come and go in the league. Well, let's be honest. Who do we root for? Are you a Justin Herbert fan or are you a Charger fan? The franchise is always going to be there to the day you die, but the players come and go. And so, hopefully they fill up that trophy case for you and they get those parades and everything else as far as the way it works. But I'm sorry. That's, to me, when you talk about Justin Herbert, it's okay to be critical of anybody that's wearing a Charger uniform that you feel has not done everything they can to help you get you wins. I think his best basically is in front of him. Moving on to coaches and quarterbacks, as we started the show talking about how Jim Harbaugh loves them. Look, we love him too. And I see a lot of you are upset. CBS ranked the top 12 relationships between quarterbacks and coaches. I'm just kind of curious to know what you guys think, okay, and how important it is. By the way, someone asked a question and I missed it. I didn't get to it. It was a question was, who do you like to see Jim Harbaugh fight? Far and away, it would be Sean Payton. Okay, that's what I want to see. If I had a choice and I could do pay-per-view, it's gonna be Sean Payton's gonna be the one.
And he wins.
Yeah.
He wins that
easily.
That's what I want to do right there. That's the direction I would go. So
We should
I don't know
specify for this list, by the way, that it's with first-year coaches or like a first-year QB or QB on a new team. If that
exactly
makes sense
right
to the audience. Yeah.
Exactly.
Not overall. Right. Yeah.
Not overall. So that's why there are 12 here. Okay, here we go. So the first one, I'm going to go count backwards, okay? First one's the Patriots. Jacoby Brissett, Gerard Mayo.
Yeah, I threw up.
Yeah, I was like, I hate to say it. It's so funny that the Patriots are so irrelevant right now and will be for years to come, but they're irrelevant, correct?
Mm-hmm.
completely.
Okay, here's another one that's like a one-year deal relationship. Gardner Minshew, Antonio Pierce of the Raiders.
Who judges this? Who even knows this?
That's
This is the dumbest thing ever. Keep going.
Yeah. Bo Nix, Sean Payton, Broncos. Now, this is one that basically Sean Payton's putting his job on by saying Bo Nix. Like, this is an important one.
No.
I'm not a Bo Nix guy, but I would have him higher. I'd have that
Okay.
relationship a lot higher. Yeah.
Number 9 is Jaden Daniels, Dan Quinn.
Sean Payton's a backstabber. I don't believe
He is.
anything.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, you can't trust him. I couldn't agree more. Watch your wallet with that guy, right? He's one of those guys.
Yeah.
That's an inside joke, Josh, and me. Watch your wallet with that guy. All right. Jaden Daniels, Dan Quinn, Commanders. That number 9. It's a big one, right? I mean,
I'd have that
Dan
higher.
Quinn stays around as long as Jaden Daniels does well.
Yep. They committed to him.
Yep.
I'm fine with it.
This one's interesting. Still don't think he has a talent around him to prove if he's good or not. But it's Bryce Young, Dave Canales of the Panthers.
No, but I think Bryce Young does have a much better season under Dave Canales.
Go ahead.
I could be high, guys, and I'm not, but like I'm starting to really buy into the Panthers. Like as the day goes by, I'm buying more. Remember, I kind of like bought more and more into the Browns last offseason? That's what I'm doing with the Panthers.
You caught it.
Yeah,
man, that's the best call you've ever had in the history of the show. In 3 years of doing this, the fact that you jumped on the Browns and we're all like, "What the hell is he talking about?" And man, they went through 5 quarterbacks, and man, you're 100% right.
I think I'm doing that with Bryce Young right now. Like I am really buying stock right now.
That's interesting. All right, number 7. This one's, I think, the one that people are going to pay attention to the most because you're going to see him on Hard Knocks. It's Caleb Williams and Matt Eberflus.
You see Keenan Allen say, hell nah, when he caught that pass from Caleb Williams the other day. Did you guys see that?
No, I didn't see it. But in what form?
They were just warming up. He was just threw. It was warm ups. He just threw a fade pass, and Keenan. It was a horrible pass. And Keenan Allen was like, hell not. But they were just warming up. I thought it was hilarious.
So funny.
What do you guys think though? I'm gonna go off this real quick. Someone said to me yesterday at the baseball game I was at that Caleb Williams, this is not good that he's on Hard Knocks as a rookie. Like if you're the Bears, this is not what you want.
That's what Caleb Williams wants. You kidding me? This is everything Caleb Williams wants. He's proven that since his time at USC. He's all about the limelight. That's why he went to LA. I think this is fine for if there's any rookie quarterback to be on Hard Knocks, I think Caleb Williams is that guy. And I think Caleb Williams actually has a pretty good year.
So another take that could expire really quickly. I think the 2024 Bears are the 2023 Jets. They have, dude. It doesn't feel like that though. Doesn't it feel like that? Everyone's high on them. Every social media post about the NFL circles around the Bears. Everything's so positive about the Bears. They're on Hard Knocks. It's all lovey-dovey. People are nice to Eberflus now. Like we're acting like we want to shove that guy out the freaking window. Like 3 months ago, right at the end of the season. Like, are we just gonna forget all of that and just go, life's good? Like, just no way in hell, dude. No way in hell. Like this season, it screams it's gonna fall apart. That it's from the rooftop, it's screaming that.
Yeah, I think Matt Eberflus is Doug Collins. Like he's just gonna be the coach for now. They're gonna bring somebody else in. Yeah.
I don't disagree with that.
That's a great point.
I don't disagree with that. Number 6, Russell Wilson, Mike Tomlin. Just mentioned Mike Tomlin's contract. Russell Wilson.
I don't trust either. Kind of like Sean Payton. I don't believe he has a good relationship with anybody. I think this guy's a little bit here. I don't trust that at all. And Mike Tomlin could get along with anybody. And I just don't think, especially with Justin Fields there, I don't think that relationship's going to be steady.
With Mario, the reason I bring this up is Mike Tomlin, we know, is an all defensive guy, right? I don't want to say he's Belichick, but basically they spent more money on defense than any team in the history of the NFL. Yet this is supposed to be an offensive league. I mean, they were drowning with Kenny Pickett, still made the postseason. Is Russell Wilson good enough to make the Steelers a contender? Does he have anything left?
I think you have to factor in how the player gets along with his teammates. Are people going to like Russell Wilson in Pittsburgh? Because that's going to determine if Mike Tomlin trusts him. Yeah, but Mike Tomlin's a huge team guy. Russell Wilson, you can't even get his phone number. Richard Sherman talked about that. You have to go through his agent.
His own office. Remember, he had his own office in the Broncos facility.
Weirdest thing ever.
Yeah. True. All right, number 5, Will Levis, Brian Callahan, the Titans.
No, this list sucks. This list is terrible.
All right, well, I haven't gotten to the good part yet, so keep going.
I'll say this: Brian Callahan, I think, is going to be a really good coach, though.
I had somebody tell me yesterday, because the Titans have never had receivers like they have now, like not just washed up guys, but 3 or 4 guys. Someone told me yesterday, do not sleep on the Titans. Everyone's picked them finishing last place. Now, I don't know what the hell that means, sleep on the Titans, but he says do not sleep on the Titans. Yeah. There you go. Josh.
I live in Nashville. I'm sleeping.
Yeah. I'll take melatonin and take a 4-day nap.
All right, here we go. This might be my favorite one on the list right here. Sam Darnold, Kevin O'Connell, Vikings at number 4.
He's not even the starting quarterback, is he?
He is.
No.
He's the starting quarterback.
What?
Sam
That's not-
Darnold's going to be the starting quarterback. It's not J.J. McCarthy.
You drafted J.J. McCarthy in the first round.
He's
and
not
then
ready.
got the quarterback.
As of right now,
He never was
not
ready.
He's
He
gonna
won't be ready.
he'll be a starter by week 1. I bet he starts by week 1.
I talked to someone that follows the Vikings extremely close yesterday, following everything they're doing. He says, dude, Sam Darnold's the guy right now. And I said, he sucks. He always has. Had one big game against Penn State on national TV on the Rose Bowl, and everybody fell in love with him. He is a turnover machine. If he's not throwing an interception, he's fumbling the ball. Sam Darnold
100%.
stinks.
That team's
He
going to
ain't good.
stink. Kevin O'Connell's going to be out.
Number
By
3.
the way, if
Go ahead.
he's out, that's a hot coach to look for a pickup because I think he's a hell of an offensive mind.
Bears.
Yeah, it's not bad. No, I love that.
Inside the
actually.
division. How about that?
Yeah.
How about that? I still say they go for Vrabel. If
Vrabel will be perfect for the Bears.
The
Oh
Bears.
my
He fits the
God.
Bears.
Yeah,
Dude,
he
he's
does.
Dicka. He's literally Dicka.
He
Well, the
is.
talk is if Ryan Day
He is.
if Ryan Day doesn't win a national championship at Ohio State, that Vrabel's the guy over there.
Overrated. Ryan Day's
Yeah.
overrated. Now, Mike Vrabel, I think, wants to stay in the NFL. I just
Yeah.
think that the way it looks to me.
College football's not appetizing anymore, dude. You got to pay a 19
Not the same.
$40 million. Yeah, I'd rather not.
Mike
Okay.
Vrabel's not for the NIL. I guarantee it.
Nah.
Down to number 3 here. All right. Geno Smith, Mike McDonald of the Seahawks. Seahawks
Are these
for
supposed to
me
be
are
good?
franchise-
These are supposed to be good relationships.
The importance of these relationships is this thing is ranked.
The Seahawks to me are just a team.
I agree.
Nothing they do this year is going to be good enough.
Yeah.
They're just a team. They're right in the middle of the pack of the NFL. I don't really care.
The writing of the writing of this article is crazy, like crazy specific.
CBS has the worst opinions. Them and Bleacher Report. We'll just call it what it is. Always has.
Too many
Always
pop-ups. Man. Too many pop-ups too. It's so hard to get to a CBS article.
Wait, dude. Bleacher Report too. It's like it feels like you're watching porn.
Right? And
How
you're
many pop-ups can you get, dude?
you're just like,
True.
did enough.
Sellout.
Like it's not worth.
All those
The
ads.
point
are
is like
just
it's not even
sellouts.
worth it. Yeah, it's not even worth
Yeah.
it. I don't care. You could literally have the code to Fort Knox, and you're like, it is not even worth it. Screw it. I can't get this. This isn't worth trying to even get to.
Yeah. I don't care who
Oh
the
my
best 10 outside linebackers in Chargers history are anymore. I'm over it. You got to go.
Yeah. I got the 2,
All right.
and I think I got what I needed.
Here we go. Last 2. All right. The number 2 is the Falcons. Kirk Cousins, Raheem Morris.
That's good. I'm with that one. That one's good because they completely screwed that up. Why would you draft another quarterback? I think that's the number one relationship I'm watching at least. And Kirk Cousins is going to play well enough where you can't bench him because I think Kirk Cousins is actually really good when the games don't matter. He's a great in the 10 o'clock game. He's awesome. Anything after 1 o'clock, he sucks.
He was born to play in the NFC South. That's the perfect division for him. Not a lot of publicity. Never really get a big game. Like he was born to play in that division. I actually kind of agree with that. I really like Raheem Morris, by the way. Like every interview, and he's so nice to all the media. Like I hope he has success. I just think he's in a situation that's massively set up for him to fall on his face.
He will. You're right. It's going to be one of those where I got offered a head coaching job. Of course, I'm going to take it. He's going to fail. I mean, it's the old you're hired to be fired. This guy 100% was hired to be fired. Raheem Morris will be a DC back in the NFL in the next 3 years. It's not going to last long in Atlanta. Atlanta is one of those organizations can't ever figure it out. Kirk Cousins is interesting to watch this year because you're hearing all the stories that he's a one and done, that he's in Atlanta for 1 year and then he's going to be available for trade next year. And like you keep hearing the Raiders are going after Kirk Cousins or Dak Prescott the following summer. So it will be interesting to watch to see what happens to Cousins. All right, here we go. Number 1 on the list, and it's the one that obviously everyone can figure out now. It's Justin Herbert and Jim Harbaugh, which I 100% agree. I think it's the most important quarterback-coach relationship in the NFL this year.
Yeah, for sure. He's going to unlock Justin Herbert. I think Justin Herbert hasn't played up to his complete potential, and his potential is MVP. I don't think Justin Herbert wins the MVP this season because he doesn't have the threats to catch the ball to win the MVP. But down the line, I think Justin Herbert can win an MVP or 2, and Jim Harbaugh is the guy to get in there.
There you go.
Can we reel off some of these questions on the side? Do you guys mind?
Real quick. I'm going to answer
through.
Gabriel's. I'm looking at it right now. Gabriel says, Dave, what does your hat say? It says Los Angeles Chargers on it. I don't know if you could see it in the light or whatever.
Yeah, I see it. I got you.
Okay.
Yeah.
There you go.
Use context clues on that.
All right,
What'd
Mario,
you say? What did he say? I didn't catch what he said.
Context clues for your hat. All right. So, Mario, I'm going to run through the starred questions, and you can just throw them up if you can, man. All right. So, first one's going to come from Demetrius Jones. It says, question, would y'all trust Alex Leatherwood at right guard if it's not Trey or Sawyer? What do you think, Mario?
God. So we're really running thin if we're at this spot right here. For a game, I'll say yes. For more than a game, I think we could be in a little bit of trouble. And it's time for some quick slants, and it's time to go to the left side of the freaking football field. But I think for one game, he can kind of hold it down depending on the matchup, depending on the team. Now, if it's in that tough skid where you get Ravens and Bengals back to back, like that could be really, really tough spot for him. But, if we're facing a low-life team like the Raiders, kidding. But, Crosby on the other side, that actually be really tough. But a team that's just not very good, we get them at the right time, I don't think it'd be that big of a problem.
Yeah, I think he's a stopgap guy. If you're down to your third guard, you're in trouble no matter what. Former first-round pick, he's more of a guard than a tackle, so I would trust him more than any other backup on the team. So I think he'd be fine. AK, he says, Josh, this is my question. Most likely to happen this season, our defense is top 10 or our offense is top 6, and Herbert is in the MVP conversation in December. Uncle Dave must go first, please. Uncle Dave, go first.
Go, Uncle Dave.
Man, this is a tough one. I'm going to go, I'm going to go defense top 10. I don't think either one of these happen. I don't think any of these happen, actually. What do you think? I don't think any of these happen. But if I had to pick one, I'd say defense at the 3. Yeah, I don't know. I don't get caught up in this. There was a time when the Chargers had the number 1 offense and the number 1 defense in the same year. How did that season end up?
No playoffs.
Didn't even make the playoffs.
2010. Hard to do.
That's pretty impressive.
Like I just said, I don't think Justin Herbert has the weapons around him to be in the MVP conversation. But I do think the defense has a better chance of being top 10 because we play a plethora of bad quarterbacks this year or bottom tier quarterbacks. So you could get a lot of interceptions, a lot of turnovers, and win a lot of games. So I think the defense has a better chance of being top of the league. All right. Do you agree, Mario?
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I just, what we said over again, I'll repeat it, but I just don't think we're going to throw the ball enough for Herbert to be in the MVP conversation. And I think that defense has a lot of potential to be the top 10. I think Jesse Minter is going to stunt on some people, stunt on some offensive coordinators. But this offense being top 6, remember, guys, you have Greg Roman calling the plays. Ain't nothing spectacular going to be happening. It's going to be very run football and very good, not great, if we're just being honest. Cut the crap.
So my next question comes from Demetrius Jones again. It says, over under Brendan Rice plays his way into the starting rotation by midseason. So the way I look at it, and see if you guys agree with me, the running back will be by committee and the receivers will be by committee. So I absolutely expect Brendan Rice to be in the rotation. The receiver group isn't good enough for him to not see the field. I think he's definitely better than what he was drafted in the 7th round. I thought he'd be like a 4th round pick. So I'm surprised the Chargers got him where they did. And I expect him absolutely to be playing just like I expect Gus Edwards and J.K. Dobbins to be sharing the football.
Dave, what do you think?
100% I'm with Josh on that. I agree.
I think he's a guy that his role is going to grow, by the way. I think in the beginning of the year, we'd see kind of little of him. And as the year goes on, we get more and more and more of Rice. So keep an eye out for it.
I like this one question. It's on the Star Chat, Mario, but it comes from Eddie Dale Jr. at 3:48 Central. I know we're all in different time zones. It says, let's say we are pick 17 next year, which is funny because we always make a joke that the Chargers are always the 17th pick. But let's say we are pick 17 next year in the first round. What position are you taking? To me, it's a no-brainer. It's cornerback. If you can find a top cornerback on this team, I think it'd make a huge difference. I'd like for the Chargers to get another cornerback in the offseason. We discussed it a couple shows ago about the guys that are still available. But to me, cornerback is still the biggest position of need on this team.
I agree with Josh on this again, man. Cornerback is the way to go. And if you look at last year's draft, there were some great cornerbacks at pick 17 last year. You can get a guy that's going to start for you right away. even a guy that could be a difference maker, a future All-Pro by picking it at 17 cornerback. If it's a wide receiver, man, I don't know what to tell you. I'm gonna walk to DC and visit Mario.
Didn't mean to display that question. So Tim May, you got free love. Congratulations. All right. Yeah, I go corner or receiver. We proved in 2 drafts ago that you can find some pretty good value at 17 for receiver. If there's that option on the board, take it. Corner's great with me too. One of the two. That's foundation builder, franchise builder. We need that, especially in year 2 of Harbaugh.
Absolutely. Do you mind if I do a couple more questions? You guys got to go.
Do a couple more. No, I want to. Well, we promise.
This is my favorite part of the show.
We promise.
Oh, you want to do the trivia? Oh yeah, let's do trivia.
We're doing trivia right now.
No, we do it next. You want to do it now or next show?
I mean, I didn't. You don't.
I didn't have it ready for this show. Well, you.
Oh, I thought you were ready.
Say it.
I promoted it on the show.
You promote it for next time. You promote it for next time.
That's the tease.
Next show. All right. There's a few more good questions. There's a few more good questions in here that we can get to. This one comes from Dominic Rogers. He says, guys, Lamar just won MVP with the #1 run game and defense. Lamar didn't do much. MVP is a team stat. So, okay, Lamar Jackson won his division. Do you think the Chargers are going to overtake the Chiefs? I hope they do. But Lamar Jackson won his division, and they were part of the #1 run game because he ran the ball so much. He was a big part of that run game. You think Justin Herbert's going to run the ball as much as Lamar Jackson? I don't think he is.
He lost his #1 target in Andrews.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just don't think I don't think Justin Herbert can win MVP this next year. I hope I'm wrong. What do you guys think?
I'm with you. He won the division, and that's a big thing for it. Also, think back to last year. Did we have any big dominant guys for MVP? We didn't, right? There was no QB that had this record-setting year. We had no QB that dominated the NFL. The unders hit across the board last year. What does that mean? That means low scoring and bad offense. When there's low scoring and bad offense, MVP turns into a team award and not a singular person award. That doesn't happen often. And the NFL also doesn't like unders. They don't like low-scoring games because that's boring TV. They want excitement. Yep. I think that's going to take a little spin this next year. You're going to see a little bit more volume scoring. You're going to see some higher numbers. The higher numbers will not favor Herbert. They just will not. They're not going to do that enough in this offense. So since they will not, Herbert's not going to win MVP. It's going to go to someone else that's going to have a little bit more volume. And look out for CJ Stroud because he's going to have a little more volume, and so will Jordan Love. Those are 2 guys entering second years that have a lot more trust in their offenses, and boom, they're going to go off.
Look, man, I don't care a rat's ass about MVP awards or anything else when it comes to individual awards. I don't get money. These guys do not give me money when they hit their bonuses in their contract. I'm just a fan. I want to see them win Super Bowls. I just don't care. I'm to the point in every sport it's that way. I don't care if it's the NBA. I don't care if it's Major League Baseball. I don't care about any of it. I just want to see the team win. All that individual award stuff. I'm not 6 years old. Where my favorite player, I'm wearing his jersey, and I go, my guy's the MVP, and I walk around school bragging about it. Dude, I care about the team winning championships. All these awards, fine. If it happens, it happens. It doesn't make one damn difference in my week if anyone on the Chargers wins the MVP. And for all you guys who ripped the hell out of me last week, by the way, how many of you guys are drafting any skill players outside of Justin Herbert on your fantasy football team this year? The answer is none. You aren't drafting any of these guys. So don't sit there and tell me, oh, these guys are so talented on offense. We got to wait and see. We started the trial saying it was a running game. But, man, to sit there and go, Josh Palmer is the same thing that the Vikings have or the Bengals have. I'm sorry, he's not. He hasn't proven that he is. Number one, he needs to prove he can stay healthy. So to sit there and go through this, and anyone who's doing a fantasy mock draft already, who I know there are guys out there who do it because you guys are in big-time leagues, look where Justin Herbert's picked. Like in the 17th round in almost every mock draft. So the guy we like the most. Again, going back to my initial statement, I don't give a rat's ass where any of these guys are picked. I want to see the team win. That's all I care about. I'm not going to school bragging to Timmy that my guy's better than your guy. Who cares? Who cares? Doesn't affect me at all. If Justin Herbert hits a bonus or Joey Bosa hits a sack bonus, he doesn't say, Dave, what's your address again so I can send you your part of the check? I don't get money out of that. There's nothing I get out of that. Neither do you. Let's focus on team wins.
100%. Enough with the game-winning drives. Let's just win games, like I said earlier. This is one of the best questions we've ever gotten.
God dang it, Jaffe. You want to be at the front lawn? We'll go.
It comes from Jeff Flores. He says, Josh, do you think Herbert's problem with batted passes is a result of his reliance on bullet passes and lack of familiarity with soft lob passes? So like I said, I think this is a really good question because there's no real definitive right answer. It's just kind of an opinion. I think Justin Herbert's one of his main issues with batted passes is obviously his eyes, right? Because if you're a defensive lineman, you're going to be watching the quarterback's eyes. If he locks in on a target for a while, you know to put your hands up. I mean, that's just how it works. I think when you had guys like Quentin Johnston last year and all the other receivers we had out there that couldn't get open, Justin Herbert would be staring at them like, dude, like I'm going to you. You got to get open, like create some separation. And then eventually his pass would get batted down. I do think Justin Herbert sometimes tries the bullet pass too much. But then again, I did the same thing when I played football, so I can't really hate on somebody when I used to do the same thing. It's hard to not do the bullet pass when you have an absolute cannon like Justin Herbert and the receivers on your team. I don't know if you can truly trust them. You try to fit it in when you can. I don't know. I think Justin Herbert's going to get unlocked. I keep saying that every show. Everything that happened last year and the season before, throw it out the window. Less batted down passes this next season, less of a scared offense. I thought the last couple of years the Chargers had an absolutely scared offense going east and west instead of going down the field. So I think Justin Herbert, you're going to see a different player. Not as many touchdowns, but more wins.
I like that. We're getting a lot of hate, by the way, right now.
I know. And look, let me tell you
saying that
something,
we're not crapping on Herbert, by the way.
Yeah, Angie, let me tell you something. I'll speak for me. I won't speak for these two. Look, I try and be a realist here. We picked number 5 in the draft overall. There's room for improvement. I'm not going anywhere. When I'm stuck with the team, I'm stuck with the team. This is what we are. It's the only way is to go up. I think Jim Harbaugh's the right guy. I think Justin Herbert's the right guy. But let's call it for what it is. Angie, I understand. No one wants to tell you that no one wants to hear their baby's ugly. Guess what? Right now, our baby is ugly. Okay? It's the truth. When you're picking 5 overall, your baby's ugly. It's the way it goes. Angie, if you leave, I'm sorry. You're going to miss us.
I want to know why we're talking crap about Justin Herbert. Like, what do we say that you disagree with? I'm curious. What do we say that you disagree with about Justin Herbert?
I think there's I think a lot of people believe that he's going to win MVP. Like, people really think he's in that conversation. And like I'm in sports gambling. I talk about sports gambling every freaking day here. Like, I can promise you, every time Herbert's name is brought up in MVP and anything like that in that fashion, with so many people that know this game and know football very, very well, everyone said the same thing. He just will not get the volume. He will not get the volume in this offense. It doesn't mean that Herbert's not an MVP type of player. It does not mean that. It just means that with this offense, with Greg Roman, and with the weapons they have, they will simply he just will not get the volume that other guys will get. And that is okay. We're building something. Rome wasn't built in a day. If it was built in a day, my God, we'd be somewhere in life. But right now, we are not. So let's just go.
You know who Justin Herbert is?
Didn't Mario and I pick the Chargers to win 12 games this year?
Yeah.
I think it's all negative.
We love Justin Herbert. We love Justin Herbert.
Who picked Justin Herbert for MVP last year? I almost cuss. I did.
Yeah.
That's it.
Dude, damn. Justin Herbert, this is who he was. And I think most people can relate to this. He's that kid in Little League that is awesome. And he's surrounded by a bunch of kids that aren't that good. And the coach that's like, why is that guy coaching a Little League team? He doesn't even know baseball. That's Justin Herbert the last few years. He's that kid in Little League that dominates, but his team loses. We love Justin Herbert. I don't know why people think we don't like Justin Herbert.
No idea. I don't know what to tell you. All right, let's calm down and regroup. We're going to come back and see that. I love the fire, by the way. Hold on, real quick. Mario is a public apology to the women at Costco. You want to apologize?
Okay.
What'd you do?
Okay. I know. I just need to apologize to Costco.
Embarrass the show.
All right. I've been running hot, Josh. Been running hot lately. Look, it's laptop. So in this move, the movers continually still mess up. Don't have all my stuff yet, by the way. Still do not have that. On top of that, open my laptop after moving day. There's a crack in the screen. Submitted to Apple. They had to keep it for another week. Extra $100 because it said they found another problem in there. I'm like, all right, go ahead, kick me in the nuts even more. Wi-Fi guy that was supposed to come today to set up my Wi-Fi in my apartment did not show up. Did a no-show, and they said, sorry, he had like an emergency, couldn't come. We'll come back to you tomorrow. So I'm already running hot. I am running hot. And I get to Costco. I'm like, I just want to get some cod because I saw Dwayne The Rock Johnson eats a bunch of that. We're trying to get jacked this summer, so that's what I'm going to get. So I go to get the cod. Didn't realize you have to show your membership card like 8 freaking times to get in the building. It's like getting into the White House. So I'm already running hot by that too, because I'm getting stopped like feels like every 5 seconds to show my damn card. Do all that. I'm walking out of Costco, and I get stopped again. And I literally go like, I said, Jesus effing Christ. I was like, sorry, Mom. I know she hated that. And I was like, what? Like, what is this? And I was like, what's the problem? And they're like, you need your receipt. And I was like, I need a receipt. And they're like, yeah, you need your receipt in order to leave. And then it's like these 2 women, like they're small, and then there's like an old man behind them. And I just go, to be completely frank with you, I promise you, if I did steal, I would just run through you guys. There's just no, I'm sorry, but there'd be no way you guys would stop me. Like there's just no way. Like dude, I felt as soon as I said it and I saw the look, like people around me, I was like, I'm the problem. I am the problem.
I did not say bomb on an airplane.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
Read it from me.
I literally stopped. I stopped what I was doing, and I like put my stuff down. I go, hey, look, I am so sorry. I've had a real tough week. I just moved here. I'm running hot. I'm sorry. I'm gonna look for my receipt. I get my receipt. I like showed to him. I told him God bless. Like I was like, I'm so sorry. I just walked out. I went back in, like apologized again. I felt so bad, but dude, I was running hot. But if you would,
man,
if you would,
my dad did at Target a few months ago. It's worse than you. So.
Ooh, Dave. So you're giving me crap. At least I apologized.
No, this is worse.
I do a lot. I'm trying to remember which one Josh.
The checkout, the self checkout.
Oh yeah,
at Target.
Yeah.
You got mad at the lady.
I do. I do. I'm not.
I'm with you on that one, by the way.
Yeah,
because they didn't have anybody to work. Remember?
That's right. No, I'm not a big self checkout person. When Josh loves the self checkout, and then I missed something. It beeped when I walked out. I missed something checking out, and I said I'm not going through my bag. Basically, I go, I don't work here. I go, if you want me to get it right, then you guys should have somebody work in the register. I'm the only one here. It's 8:00 in the morning, and you guys don't have anyone working the register. Yeah, it's that's the nice version of it. All right, I'm gonna tell you this move right here, Mario. You tell me if it's a jerk move. Okay. I'm at the Padres game Friday night, and I'm sitting on the aisle. Okay. And people have to get up and get something, which is fine. I got it. I don't mind standing up. My knees are good. You know, not one of those where I'm not healthy enough to stand up. But the aisle's 20 deep. All right. So there's an opening on one side, there's an opening on my side. And I'm looking where the people keep coming from. And basically, they're 17 seats away, but they have to keep walking through my side the whole night.
No.
And it's one thing at a time. It's like a beer this inning, then it's cotton candy the next inning, then it's a hot dog the next inning, it's licorice the next inning. It's nonstop of up and down. And I'm just like, man, like, don't be afraid. Like, who wants to stand on the line and miss the game anyway? So I never understand why you just don't get most of it all at once. Mm-hmm. Fine. So when it's time to go, the 3 people I'm with, when it's time to go, they go, hey, let's go. And I go, no, we're going that way. And I made the guys walk basically past 17 people walk in, or 16 people walk in to the right. And dude, I kicked the hell out of every person's foot walking out. Every single person that I passed, I just kicked the crap out of them. I was Cameron Dicker. And they're like, are you insane? To instead of just leaving? I go, no. I go, it's the end of the night, 9th inning. I go, it's payback for what I've been doing, getting up and down, and then ruining the game for me. And so, is that a bad move? Did I take it too far?
Yeah, that's a little too. First off, you gotta know what you're getting yourself into sitting in that seat. Like you gotta know what.
I didn't mind, but it was the same goofballs. Like, dude, buy it all at once. I know what it was. Some guy was on a date with a girl who she had zero interest in the game. Zero interest. That was it. I mean, how many micheladas do you need? Come on. Pump the brakes. All right, let's get at it. We're train wrecks. All right, here's the deal. We'll be back in 2 days. We will do Charger trivia. We're going to check the audience here again to see how smart you are on your Charger trivia. And Mario will be ready to go with the questions and the answers. I hope, Mario. Just don't go. Mm-hmm. That sounds right. Like, hey, have some answers that actually.
No, I will.
Otherwise, Joffy's going to lose his mind.
All right. This guy already lost his mind, dude. This guy wants to kill you.
That's fine.
What's this guy's problem?
Wants to really meet you. Yeah.
Oh, he does.
I'm telling you right now, you don't want to meet Dave. He's probably way bigger than you think he is.
Dude, based off this profile pic, Joffy's jacked. Was
That's
that
fine.
some
probably
crazy?
Jaffe is jacked. I'm looking at it right now. Dave ripped a guy's ear off.
I did.
Once.
I did rip a guy's ear off.
That actually happened.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, it's
all love. It's all
that,
love.
that's it. This is see what
it's all-
Harbaugh's creating here. You see the atmosphere he's creating. So that's fine. It's I don't want to say anything on camera here. All right, here we go. So for Mario, Josh, me, appreciate you guys, of course, watching and participating in the show. We do get a kick out of it. Please give the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already. We'll be back in 2 days. Please bring the anger. Jaffe, we'll see you then. Angie, I doubt we're going to see you. Sounds like you're done with us. It's fine. Best of luck to you and whatever podcast you find that tells you everything you want to hear. We'll talk to you in 2 days, everybody. Thanks again for listening to the Bolt Crew podcast.